The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki.
Hello, here I am. It's the Nikki Glaser Podcast. Welcome. It's Wednesday. It's the day after Halloween, but we're recording this on spooky, scary Eve. Halloween sounds.
Cauldron.
Oh, that's Taylor McGraw. She's in studio with me in St. Louis. Brian Frangie is not with us yet. He might be joining us later. He had to go do an appointment and wasn't able to be on time, and I had no other. What is he doing
He's
today?
frantic on a highway somewhere, for sure.
I know. I just told him,
It's an
please,
appointment.
Brian Frantic. I told him, please don't sweat it. Like, I don't need you grinding tonight.
Grinding like the organ of the
Just
that
grinding
makes
his teeth.
Oh,
I don't need
yeah.
any extra stress in that man's life. He's in a lot of tooth
I
pain all
pictured
the time.
like somebody grinding and then like a
One of those-
skeleton popping up from a grave.
Ooh,
Is that a
festive.
thing?
I don't know. I picture a Jack in the Box, which Kerstin always says is our period when
Jack
on
in
the
the
girls' chat. Whenever we talk about whenever we're like all crying or something, or like being like, and I just don't know what's going on, and usually we get to
Every
I'm a
time.
Jack in the Box right now because it's like dun, 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 and you just don't know when it's gonna go.
We never will ever learn.
I just thought that mine was gone. Like, do you ever have it where you're just like, oh, I'm good? Like, you take out a tampon and there's just like a little spot of brown. Like, it's like on the very edge, and you're just like, man,
like
that
a little eye.
and it was just up there dry. Like, I want it to be soaked. So
Agreed.
I hate when you pull out a dry one. And so
oh, I don't
I
even
just
remember those
I was like,
things.
it's done. And then I just went to the bathroom and I was like, what the hell? Because it was just like all over the toilet seat. Like, I get up and it just sprays period pee all over the toilet seat. Welcome to the show. It's like pink
Here
when
we
it's
are.
period plus yellow plus red equals a pretty like coral color.
It's the the color wheel for sure.
Yeah. And
Complementary colors are involved.
I just love when I'm done with my period. I'm so excited because it's just another month before Jack in the Box.
Yeah, and then you like flatten down. You go like a gas bag. Like,
And you feel great for a week. That's like the best
Yeah,
time.
you feel good.
It
You
is.
feel good.
don't you feel smarter? We've talked about this probably on the chat, like because you kind of we've talked about how we like bump into things and kind of like are clumsy. Which somebody read that's an actual thing that it
you're
makes like you
spatial
kind of. Yeah, and that
awareness is-
we've all talked about how we like gone and said like really dumb jokes, or like gone in front of like Kerstin was talking about how she made like a really lame joke in front of like Pilates class or something.
right.
You just you're not ever on.
I went to Kerstin's Pilates class this weekend.
You
Yesterday,
did?
actually. Yesterday morning.
Oh, yeah.
And she was so funny. She was just like very Kerstin, you know.
Did you feel like she was a celeb that you were watching?
Yeah, it was funny because she went to my show on Sunday night in Lawrence, and then I was like, I'm going to your show this morning. And yeah, she does like a show. She's just so good at being like, now put your feet on the bars and you're going to raise up, touch your heels together, tuck in that waistband, oh, so tight. Now you're going to go round and round with your, like, she just like describes each of the things and she's funny. It's nice to go to a friend's class because as the listener probably knows about me, I hate classes because any kind of fitness class, a lot of people feel that's the only way they can work out because they feel the pressure
Force.
and they don't want to. They put themselves in a situation in which they can't leave. They'll be embarrassed. There's other people. There's a competitive nature.
You can't like give up.
I've straight up just walked out of.
I just like do
group
corpse
classes.
pose and pretend I have like an illness or something
Oh,
that they
that's
can't
good.
question me about,
That's
or like a handicap.
That's what. Can I just like brief timeout? That is what Pilates is all the equipment looks as if you are rehabilitating from a horrible
And like
car
a
crash
psych
and learning to
ward.
walk again.
Yes, psych
and
ward.
every exercise, yes, it's like a sex psych ward because there's like this. Joe Pilates was definitely a perv.
Joe Pilates,
Whatever his
not
name
like
was.
Felipe.
I think it's Joseph.
Okay,
I call him Joe.
Joe.
I've been doing it 3 weeks, so I can call him Joe now. But he was a freak for sure. All these things are sexual, but they're also, it's all equipment that makes you feel like you're walking into the physical therapy level of a hospital where they only deal with people who have lost
Yeah.
all ability
It's
to
like you're taking air at the tuberculosis hospital.
What is that?
Like, you know, when you see videos that they're just like all sitting in like wheelchairs by the front windows, like taking the air, and then they all go,
reference.
or like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Then they all go into the room and get in like the tub or like torture devices.
All reminds me of that just a rehab place where you are literally on bars learning how to walk, and people go like, "Good job," you know, like no shade to those places. They are great for people who are needing to learn how to walk. But I don't like to be. But that is what Pilates is you're learning how to move your body in the correct way, and your whole life has been a car crash, taking you away from your regular posture and what your muscles are supposed to be doing. So every position feels like you're fighting. And it feels like, you know, because I've sometimes watched movies or something where someone's learning how to walk, or it's like a Dateline special where it's like, and she's fine. The doctor said she wouldn't, and she's doing it, and they're like, move that leg. And you know what I'm thinking of? Forrest Gump. I think that's the only movie I've seen where a guy is like rehabilitating, and he gets so frustrated and he's falling. You know, Lieutenant Dan. And I feel Lieutenant Dan, even though they have referenced Lieutenant Dan several times for me in Pilates, because they say, pretend that you can't use your legs. Like everything is coming from your core. So that's your powerhouse. So your legs are really just bones that are like, I'm moving a bone. Like they're not supposed to be your muscle. Like everything's supposed to.
Yeah,
like,
they don't have power.
When I
in
move
them.
my toe, it's supposed to come from my abs. That's what Pilates is. It makes no fucking sense.
Oh, is that your core?
Your core is your abs and your hip, and then your like kind of upper thighs that wrap around in the back. That's your like powerhouse, and everything comes from there. And I am using like extension cords for my powerhouse. I'm doing everything from my like my low back is like twist. I don't know, but it's very interesting to be told, okay, use that muscle, and she'll like poke at it, and I'm like, it's numb. I don't know how to feel that. I don't know how to move that. It makes me feel as if I'm paralyzed. And I have to say that I'm always looking for ways to like empathize with things that I don't understand. And I'm not saying that I know what it's like to be paralyzed at all, but I know the sensation of having a muscle not only not do what you want it to do, but not even know where the fuck that is in your brain to control it.
Yeah. You're like a brick house instead of a powerhouse.
There's only one way to say that.
That's what it is, right?
I'm a brick
house. That's what that means, right? A brick house is like a stiff man.
Yeah. Well,
I think it's a sexy
Here's the
woman.
thing, though, Nikki.
It just is very frustrating.
The more you do it, the more you'll learn how to use those muscles, and it will get easier for you. It's frustrating to be new at something.
You should.
That's the truth, Noah. And do you know what? This is the thing that needs to be said more to me, to people like me, is that it's this. I like when they say it's a learning curve, even though I don't know what the fuck that really means.
Yeah,
I just
why
know
is
that
it
it
a
takes a
curve?
long time
It's a
to get
sickle.
it. People just don't like to say, well, it's going to take a long time to learn. Just say that.
Yeah.
Stop this learning curve
have
thing that makes me
patience.
feel like I'm the dumb one in the class. Like, it makes me feel like a learning curve is, I'm guessing, let me try to explain what I think a learning curve is. When people say that, I do not know.
I have no idea.
Because it's a graph and it's a math thing that I don't know because there's a
Exactly.
learning curve in the class,
There's
and
like
I'm on the bitter end of
a
it.
parabola or something involved.
Yes, it's this. But I think what a learning curve means is it's very hard in the beginning, and then once you get it, it becomes easier. And then it's like, and then
that's not what I thought.
there's a breakthrough. I could be wrong. Will you look it up? No,
Yes,
because
No,
I
that's
don't know what
totally
it
true.
means.
That's got to be true. I thought it was like the bad students get Fs and the good students get A's. So like you want more students to get C's.
That's what I thought it was too. Wait, they used to use those in class. Like everyone would do as bad as the worst student, or like everyone.
The worst you could
worst-
get was the best you can get is the best student.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. And then it would all go from there. So like if a best student got a B, then that B is suddenly an A. And so your D is suddenly a C.
Right.
Like, that's what I thought.
meant if there was someone good, then you're never going to be good.
So what is a learning, when people say it's a learning curve, it's a learning, what the fuck
a
are they
learning
meaning?
curve is a visual representation of how long it takes to acquire new skills or knowledge. And there is a graph.
Okay, so this is why I think this bullshit, because the learning curve is not what they're saying. A learning curve is just a type of graph.
I don't understand how this
it's not a
applies.
thing that they're not actually making sense when they say it. No one really knows what they're saying. Okay.
It's a representation of what it is. Then it just is
then
what it is. Why does
stabilizes
it have
over
to be
time.
like-
It's really hard at first. There's a steep incline. Is that?
Oh, that's
is
a good.
that part
That's
of
a good
this?
interpretation.
Yes.
I don't know what these numbers are.
Okay.
Once you get to a certain point, it's easy.
Okay.
Is what they're saying,
Well,
I guess.
they should say that then.
That would be
because this
much
learning
easier.
curve shit, I don't like to hear that. And I don't even think they know what they're trying to say. But just, I want to hear, why is it so weird for people to say, this is really hard? It should be hard. I like when people go, it is hard.
Yeah, you have to have
it should be.
acceptance of hardness.
When I was like trying to get my eating in order and I was like binging every night and I just did it, like I was starving all day long and then I would start eating late at night and then I couldn't stop, and then that was like what I liked to do because it was like locked in, like I get this reward at night, and then once the fucking barricades are off, I go buck wild, and it's like the best part of my day. It was during COVID. It was like just it was a really bad time in my life. But when I was like, this is unmanageable and like my life is actually miserable because of this, because I'm waking up with all this food in bed. When I started to go to like eating disorder recovery, like just these meetings, they were saying like, you're just gonna, like, if you keep coming to meetings, one day you're just gonna get it. It's just gonna like, you're gonna want to just stop eating like this. Because for me, it was like, okay, when am I gonna want to wake? For me to break this cycle, I have to eat in the morning, which means I've eaten in the morning when I've just finished eating at 4 a.m. So I don't want to eat in the morning. That means I'm gonna get fat because I just ate. So you have to break the cycle at some point. Or I have to starve
Double up.
all day through the night and start over in the morning. Like at some point to break the cycle, you have to do something deeply uncomfortable, which is like eat when you don't want to. So I was so frustrated by it. And I kept hearing all these people in meetings talking about how like, one day I was just struck abstinent. One day it was just like, God came through and I just didn't want to do it anymore. And it was, this is for, no, it's true. Cause some people do have this awakening where they're just like, I get it. And I've had that with certain things. But then one person in a meeting shared that was like, if you're looking for this to be easy, stop, because it's hard. But you can do hard things. And that just, I needed to hear that so badly because I think it goes in line with all the music stuff that I struggle with too. Is like, if it doesn't come easy, you're not meant to do it. And it's like, well, some things are hard. And sometimes the talent is persevering past the hard part, and it's not just like, oh, I'm just a natural. Sometimes your natural ability is the perseverance. It not always is. Some people are just like Kerstin's natural. I know she worked very hard, but she's naturally inclined to Pilates. I'm sorry, it's just true. Her body is already was already
in the right
she
position.
did gymnastics,
kind of, and she's an athletic person. She's okay, that's true.
So she struggled through other stuff.
But she was even naturally inclined to that thing. Yes, she's worked very hard to be good at it. But for someone like me, I go, well, then what's the point of me even doing this if I'm not naturally inclined? But I just have to work that much harder to do it. Am I going to? Probably not. Like, am I going to persevere? No. But like, I think sometimes people don't like to say things are hard because we shut down if we think they're hard. But for me, when someone tells me, oh, this is supposed to be hard, that like frees me.
Because it's authentic. That's the reality of it.
And because I can do hard things. That's what I can do. I might not be able to do this thing that you're telling me right now, but if you just say it's hard, well, I can do that because I do hard things all the time. I might not be able to, I think that sometimes my Pilates teacher is just like, I just go, that was hard. And all I want her to say is like, it's supposed to be. It sucks in the beginning. Just say that. Yeah. And I'll keep doing it.
Oh, you're doing good though.
Yeah.
Like a baby would.
She did say today, she was like, you are this just took a little bit, right? But like now you're getting it. And I'm like, kind of like it's 2% easier, but Pilates is fucking hard. And so that's just to say that if you're struggling out there with something, maybe just look for verification that this is actually hard and that other people struggle with it. Because Chris took Pilates a few years ago. And I talked to him about it and he's like, it's so hard. And it just made me feel so good to hear that someone else isn't just like, oh, I love Pilates. It's so good. Like, he's like, no, it sucks.
Well, people have different like intelligences too. People have like physical intelligence and you are very intellectual.
No physical intelligence.
Everything is in your head and you're super smart that way. So like it might be easy for someone else, but they don't have what you have. You can't. If you try to tell somebody like this is how you like have a career being a comic, or this is how you like write jokes or easily do these shows,
right?
They'd be like, that is absolutely absurd because you won't. Yeah. You might not ever be able to like get to Kerstin's level. We're really Kerstin's the best. Or someone who has that kind of intelligence. You just have to like.
You have to like accept what you are
got
good
a
at,
handicap
and like,
in that. Yeah,
I do have a handicap. Like, there's no doubt about it. But sometimes I just get, I don't know about you guys, but when something is just not, I can't do it. Like, do you ever like untangle a necklace and your back starts hurting?
Yes.
Is that relatable?
I
Like, do
think
you ever like if you focus on something
back
so much, your
hurts
back
all the
starts
time.
hurting so badly? It makes me realize that obviously back pain is a little bit psychosomatic in that regard for me, because it's always when I'm doing something like I'm trying to get like I'm tweeze a hair that I just can't find. It won't like pick the tweet like in my back, or like I'm trying to pull out a hangnail that I can't get. My back starts hurting. It's like, well, this isn't a back issue. This is just me being so frustrated at the thing I want to be able to do that I can't. And that's how Pilates feels. But I was saying, oh yeah, I took Kerstin's class this weekend, and she was and I before the class I had to be like, what are the other girls like in there? Like, are they really good at
Are they
it?
bitchy?
Yeah, are they gonna be like perfect at this? And am I gonna be? The thing is with Pilates, you don't stop enough to compare yourself to anyone else. You can't see anyone else. You're constantly like on laying down on this thing and doing weird positions. But in my Pilates lesson today, my personal training, they like put a mirror up right next to you for almost every exercise. So you have to like look at yourself doing it. And that is really hard for me. That's an exercise in and of itself, to just stare in a mirror at your body.
I
doing
would just
really weird
break
moves.
down. Be like, I am a cashew.
I can't look at
Old?
myself.
We have that.
I look
much.
like Mr. Burns.
Mr. Burns.
I'm like,
I do have that posture.
I feel
Yeah,
so
I
stupid
do.
at my jujitsu gym. Like, we have a mirror against the back wall, and I always like, if I catch myself in it, I just look so dumb, and I just like blur my eyes. I'm like, I can't look.
You have to blur. Yes. We're not supposed to be able to see
I don't wanna
ourselves
see it
all
because
the time.
No,
it takes me out
we're not
of
supposed
it.
to be able to see ourselves ever, unless we like look in the cool water while we're doing laundry for our family of 20 or whatever. You're not supposed to like have mirrors everywhere.
I went and got a facial on Thursday, and it's this really high end place that takes like, you have to book out like months in advance because this woman is so in demand. And I had no idea what I was getting myself into, because Chris's sister recommended it, and she has all like the top recommendations of like the best things in St. Louis, of like these like just like all
Can I
the
get a chiropractor?
kind of bougie things. It is good. So I went to it, and she was like talking to me about, she was like, you filled out a form online, but you didn't get into like a lot of stuff I need to know, like where have you had trauma in your body? And I'm like, what? And I'm like, well, I had surgery on my vocal cord. She's like, good for me to know. I'm like, for a facial? She's like, this is not a normal facial. So the whole facial was like
Ooh.
lymphatic drainage.
Oh, hell yeah.
Pretty much. And it was like, I held a crystal on my chest, and she just like gently touched my face and did like energy work. And it was, and then at that, and I fell asleep so much and kept waking up to myself going like, like making weird noises. Like it was like
Seven.
causing like, it was so seven. It was causing like weird phlegms and sounds to come out of my face. And
It's draining out.
it really, yeah. And then at the end of it, I'm not kidding you. At the end of it, she goes, okay. So, she's like, just like, it's over, like when they like tell you like, that's all done. She goes, and just don't work out for 10 days. And that's, and I was like, what? I was like, I'm going to Pilates right now. Like, I can't, I need,
Why
what do you
would
mean?
you have to say that
She was like,
beforehand?
well, just don't raise your heart rate. And I'm like, what do you mean by like, no, I'm going to, like, I do cardio. I'm trying to get in shape for a thing, December 16th, Seattle, come see me. I can't. And she was like, well, what we just did is a lot. Like, you have so much fluid in you that's stored, and I just drained it all out, and your body should only be working to get that out of you. It should not be working to do anything else. And I was like, would have been nice to know.
Yeah.
She's like, if you go work out, it kind of just negates everything we did. And I'm like, well, you know what? I paid $150 for this fucking Pilates lesson I have to go to. I'm going to it. So it was all for naught. And I have a lot of fluid in my face. And by the way, when we're doing gua sha, like all these things where we're like pushing away and up, that is like all going into our brain.
You're
like
supposed to
so
go
much
this
fluid in your
way.
brain gets stuck. You got to push it down.
Down.
And my neck is where everything is stored. All of my things are in my neck. It's all getting stuck here, and it's getting backed up. It's like, it's stuck though. She said it's stuck in my chakra in my, right here. What's this? That's
Titty
the
chakra.
solar
it's the
plexus.
solar plexus. Yeah, it's stuck there. There's a backup and like a traffic jam. This is where I'm blocked. but it's all backing up and it's getting caught in my throat, and that's what affects my singing. That's why in every picture I look like Ren and Stimpy vascular, like you know what I'm talking about?
When they zoom in?
Every Ren and Stimpy, when they would get mad, they'd be like, ah, and then the neck would fall out, like, you know, like stick a jut out, and then there would be veins.
And then they like
down
zoom in and show the blood going like,
yeah, it was so good. I loved Ren and Stimpy, but I feel like that's my next. So it's just nice to hear that that's where it all is. What am I going to do about it? Nothing. I don't know. And then I went and got a massage yesterday at Kerstin's place.
I would think your heart rate would pump the lymph to keep moving it.
I know. I was thinking like, let's get this thing pumping out. And she was like, no, your body, like, she pretty much said people who do, she was like, do you know any athletes who like live a long time? Can you think of any athlete who's like lived really, really long?
I was vindicated. Like, I'm going to live
I don't know.
long.
I don't really follow people into their old age in terms of athletics. She was like, athletes have constant trauma to their bodies. They're constantly exerting themselves. Anything you do that's punitive is going to be bad for your body and cause inflammation. Inflammation causes disease. Stop doing Bikram yoga. Carlisle, if you're listening, she was like, people who do Bikram are the most unhealthy people because you're anything with like lots of heat. You were talking about Ayurvedic. Ayurvedic. And you were saying that you were only eating hot things, and she was like, yes, that's good to do, but like any kind of hot things, like that's causes
you're not
inflammation.
Supposed to exert yourself during like a hot day. You're supposed to relax in the shade on a hot day.
But when she said that, she was like, she was like, I used to be a bodybuilder, and it was hell, and it did so much damage to my body. I thought I was like in the pinnacle of health, but I wasn't. I don't do anything now. I just sit on my ass. She didn't say that. She just does gentle yoga and stuff.
Me too.
No
in my
strenuous
bed.
Activity. You can't fucking win. There's always going to be someone online who's telling you like, you have to push past your limits. Always keep running more, run an extra mile. It's like, you know, there's David Goggins, and then there's this woman who's like, don't ever work out again or you'll die. So I don't know what to do. We'll figure it out when we get back from the break. So we're back. This weekend I was in Milwaukee, and then we drove to Iowa, and then we drove to Kansas. And
who's in the car with you?
Matt and Anya. And we play question games. We play trivia games. We do history trivia. I really am dumb. I don't know about any history.
Do you know about the new Milwaukee history?
What? Oh, yeah, about Dahmer?
No, Dahmer's predecessor or predecessor, after presser. Her name is Taylor Shabusiness.
What?
There's a new Jeffrey Dahmer in town, ladies and gentlemen.
Her name is Taylor Shabusiness?
Shabusiness.
Stop. That's not a name. Is that a name she gave herself?
Yeah, but...
Wait, who is it? It's a serial killer?
She killed one person.
Okay, so that's not serial.
But she would be serial if she didn't get caught. She's wild. You got to look it up, Taylor Shabusiness.
How'd she get caught?
She killed this guy. Yeah, this is her. She just had
she like
her
watched
trial.
Dahmer and then was like,
she was very into Dahmer. So they have I was watching a show and they have clips like Taylor saved 15 pictures of Dahmer on her phone. I was like, how did they know
about you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know, I was pausing, clipping. So she killed this guy on meth. She chopped him up and so many extra.
In Milwaukee? How'd she get him? Romance?
It was her boyfriend or like a guy that she was sleeping with anyway.
What was their status? It was complicated.
It was like on and off. Yeah. And then she put his like head in a bucket, and then his mom walked down the stairs and saw and found and was like, why is this bucket here?
That's what Dahmer's dad almost did. He almost opened the refrigerator and saw the heads.
Oh boy.
Oh,
well, now it's Taylor.
Heads.
Now we're going to be talking about Taylor.
Okay. Well, Milwaukee had a vibe to it. I did like it up there. I love Milwaukee air. It almost feels Michigan-y. But you've never been there, but it's like Dahmer territory. You love Dahmer.
I love da dom.
But
Girls
it was
trip.
Yeah. Girls trip, Milwaukee. I still got to bring you guys to Columbine.
Snowshoeing. Oh yeah, let's
And
do
you
that.
will go.
Girls trip. Of course.
Yeah, it's
Of
spooky.
course.
I would
But
go
they
there for
tore down the
Halloween.
school.
No.
Oh, they didn't.
Oh man, it still looks so much like it.
Oh, really? I
Oh,
thought
yeah.
they totally messed
No,
it up.
they redid the library, but the outside there's
had to
so
redo
much
the
that looks
library.
exactly like what was up. Yeah, it's pretty. I'm glad that they kept it kind of the same.
Let's just do a girls trip where we go and do all the murder scenes.
That would be fun for two of us.
Yeah.
I had a theory about Columbine. And I don't think it's
Ooh.
why you like it, but I wonder if it's
Do
something in the
tell.
back of your mind. So I've been thinking a lot about
Okay.
like what's going on in Israel and stuff, which is what prompted all of this. And
Mhm.
and I was connecting it to like, oh, school shootings. And I've been thinking about like judgment and how we judge other people. And I'm thinking like in situations like Columbine, or like, you know, when there's like a terrorist attack and stuff and a lot of people are together, do you think they're judging each other? I would say no.
What?
I've
Wait.
thought about that. Like
What?
if somebody
I'm so lost at this question.
pushes someone-
I'm so sorry. What do you mean? Are people
Like
judging
for
each
example,
other?
like all those high
like
school
how you
students,
behave in a school shooting?
No,
Yeah.
no. Like, you know, like in high school,
Well,
you have like cliques and people are like making fun of other people and stuff. Do you think in the
Mhm.
moment, like in the cafeteria, like all those students who are kind of like huddled together and scared, they're not judging each other. It's like just like this moment where like you like let go of
Everyone's.
judgment.
Yeah.
Oh
I don't know,
yeah,
just something I'm thinking
everyone.
about.
There's
like
no-
at a sports game.
Oh yeah, you can't crouch under our table. You're a dork. Go die by the computers. Yeah, that's interesting. No, you're right. In those in an emergency situation, it's kind of every man for himself, but it's also everyone's equal. And it did unite Columbine in a really big way. Like I think following the attacks, Columbine was like, you know, because bullying was at the forefront of what they thought that whole thing was about, that it became like bullying so wrong and we're all in this together kind of thing. So I think that it did bring people together. But like in a mass shooting situation, I would be annoyed with people because I think I know how I would handle it.
If you're like, especially if you're pushing
But I don't
people
know, by the way.
to like get people out of the way. If you climb over somebody, I'm like, I'm gonna remember Tom just did that, right?
Yeah.
Like
I'm
in
going to
the
remember that for the next 2
Titanic,
seconds
so.
that a bullet's not in my head.
I think you're
Yeah.
No, the Titanic, they remembered the guy that dressed up as a woman, and everybody like spit on him for the rest of his life and followed him around.
because
town.
he wanted to get in one of the things.
Yeah, and they said women and children first because he was a male that survived. So they like just spread rumors or made up. They don't know what happened, but they assumed women died, children died, but how did he survive?
Oh.
So everyone like harassed him his whole life.
Oh my God.
That's what I was wondering if you meant like the judgment of how you act.
Right.
Like if you put someone else in danger or you ran out and didn't grab a
you
kid
know
on the way
my
out.
shooting plan. Like I've run through it. I'm going to run at the guy.
Oh,
I want to be the one that runs at the guy because the
Just
thing
make sure
is,
you're
someone
skipping
has
side to
listen,
side. Don't run in a straight line.
Oh yeah, you have to run
Yeah,
zigzag
zigzag.
on the way there.
You gotta go,
Listen, I'm saying this all very tongue in cheek because there's no way I'll know
You
what
don't
I'll
get to
do in
pick,
this
yeah.
kind of situation, and I'd have no judgment on anyone who doesn't do this. But if you can imagine yourself in a situation where you are at a bowling alley, you're at a movie theater, you're at somewhere where this guy walks in, and you are close enough to them, and you're kind of know you're gonna die anyway, or if you just if you have it in you, if you just knock him over a little bit,
Yeah.
if you just
Kick the
grab
dick.
him, if you just
'Cause
like
there will
grab
be a
his
dick.
arm, like it really will do a lot to then help the situation. But your instinct is to run, and I think mine would be too. I would just crouch and cover my head, like that'll help a bullet not go into it. That's always the sad thing is. I'm sorry to get so morbid, but when there's like, I've read all the autopsy reports. Do you read that stuff?
Not for Columbine, but I have, yeah.
Oh, well, you'll get into it eventually because there's only so much
Next
information out
step.
there. And there's always like, they're always covering their heads. Like
Yeah.
that's going to help. And that's always like such an
sad.
interesting,
I
sad
actually
thing.
think
Their
you would
parents
be
taught them.
good in a situation like that because you're constantly dealing with adrenaline rushes. Like when you go on stage and stuff, that for you, it's so second nature. For most people, we don't get to experience that on a regular basis.
I would grab a microphone and start singing,
Just
distract
kick
everyone.
the back of their knees. You do like third grade
I would
stuff.
bow. That's interesting. Yeah, I think I'd be better in it because I've just run the scenario through my head a lot. And when I'm on a plane, that's why I also think I'd be okay if I ever die in a plane crash, I want people to know that like I've kind of like accepted it a little bit because I've run it through my head so many times of what I would do, what I would say, how I would think. I also have dreams about dying in plane crashes a lot. And so I think I'm like more prepared just because of I visually run it through. And some people might scoff at this and be like, Nikki, what the fuck are you talking about? But it is true that if visualization helps you helps you perform. So
100%.
whether I don't know why I'm visualizing these things. In fact, I was visualizing it yesterday on the plane because I was just having a moment of kind of bad thoughts. And I was like, oh no, this could be like manifestation levels of visualization. Because if you think of things too, like all the manifestation books I read are like, visualize the call you get.
I thought you could only manifest good things.
Really?
You can manifest bad things? Then how come like, what about witches and stuff?
Well, I would think you can manifest, like, negative self-talk is supposed to be horrible for you.
Yeah, I don't think you can manifest for other people, can you?
Oh, you can manifest good things for other people. Like, the book I was reading called, like, it was Joe Dispenza's book. And then there's some book about the subconscious mind. I'm so obsessed with this stuff. But you can, like, cure someone else's cancer by thinking hard enough for them.
Oh.
And I know this sounds
I'll do that. I think a
woo-woo,
lot.
but I've never believed in anything like this, but I truly believe in this stuff. It's so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, though, I was trying to get into, Chris and I were talking about our frustrations with our lives. And I was starting to just go, God, you're such a 1. Because he's an Enneagram 1. And I know that because he took the quiz that our therapist gave us. And Enneagram's pretty legit.
It's the most legit thing of all
because
time.
it's based on a test that was written by people who...
It's based on, like,
categorize.
ancient. It goes way back.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's based on some, like, I mean, it goes back to, like, the Sumerians or
How
something.
did they take the quiz then?
They just, like, did it on, like, a rock with, like, scratched with another rock.
If you're at a party, if you're at an ancient Sumerian party, would you prefer to be the social butterfly in the party?
That's how you decide what number you are, what you use to take the test. Like, if you use a sharp stick, you're like
what
a
number
1.
are you?
5. Big
And what does that
time.
mean?
I'm the investigator. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. You want to figure out
I have
things.
to figure out everything about certain things, which is just preventing me from actually living my life.
What are the good things about an investigator?
They can be, like David Lynch is an investigator, Peter Gabriel, Brian Eno, like that you can be very creative.
Wait, what? Oh, okay. So you can be creative.
Yeah, like those are very like
Peter
eccentric,
Gabriel.
creative people who, pioneered
Did
something.
he do
You can be
Salisbury Hill?
inventors. Yes.
Climbing up on Salisbury
Very
Hill.
inventive of them. No one's ever climbed up on this hill. It's very
I
high.
forgot my microscope. He just needs
Like
this
probably
thing.
Einstein, like you can be
Okay,
an inventor,
scientists.
or you can be like a Kaczynski, or like you could be a
That's the bad.
crackpot, or you could be an inventor.
Okay.
Same as
Were
everyone.
you happy when you got that one?
I mean, I knew it. I was
When you
happy
knew
to
it.
see who else was a 5.
Oh, that's always fun.
Yeah, because I saw
Yeah.
Peter Gabriel, who is the best person in the world.
I was very happy when my Enneagram had Taylor Swift on it.
It did?
Yeah.
Well, that's obvious.
It's
yeah.
a 3, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And Chris is a 1. Noah, do you know what you are?
No, I came into girls chat after you did the quiz.
I think we need to
We
give it
gotta
to you.
do it.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Eclectic energies,
Yeah.
Enneagram.
But it does, it just helps you understand. I think it's better, not so much for myself because I feel like, oh, I'm me. I kind of get it. But like understanding other people and what their
Yes.
motivations are and like, why do they care so much about this thing?
Yes.
But Chris,
You
as
can
a
be
1,
like,
is
oh, it's not his
extremely
fault.
moralistic.
Yes.
There is right and there is wrong, and there is little gray, which is a very good
Particularities.
quality to have because he is trustworthy. That man would never cheat on me. That man would never talk ill of me. He's like just he is just a good person, knows what's good, knows what's bad. But then the bad side of that is that there's no gray. There's no like, because I'm in the gray all the time, and he's just like, well, you said you liked that yesterday, and now you don't like it. We were watching The Golden Bachelor last night, and he said some comment of like, it's so sad that some of these women like don't even have a chance. And when he said that, on screen was a woman that very much has a chance, and I thought he was referring to her kind of, and I go, oh no, they do. And he was like, okay. And then later on, there was this woman that was like, I just love Gary so much, and she talks like this. And I was like, bitch, you don't stand a chance. You're going home. And he goes, I just said that. And I go, Yeah, but like I meant it about the other. Like it must be very frustrating for him to live with someone who is constantly changing their mind about everything all the time. But that's also a good quality in me because I forgive people very easily. I can easily see someone else's side of things. I'm not someone who is I'm not afraid to be wrong. I don't like being wrong. I'll fight it. But if you give me some good evidence, I'll go, well, now I know. Now I'm smarter. I crave being right. So I will switch sides very quickly to be right. Speaking of being right, I was so wrong for so long. And so was everyone about Miss Britney Lynn Spears.
Oh my God. I
don't
can't
know
wait
if that
to
is
read
her
that
middle
book.
name, but Britney Jane Spears.
Yeah, Britney Lynn.
It's so fucking good.
No, that's her
I got
sister.
Noah into it because it was honestly, Britney is a combination of Carlisle
Yes.
and Noah. Her prose is Noah. Noah.
But
when
she
I was
didn't
reading
write
it, there was I told all the girls chat, I was like, everyone's got to read this when I first started reading it.
Is
Then
it
I
at the
got more
library?
into it. It's probably at the library, but I can't imagine that you're gonna have to be on a wait list. If I had the book, I'd give it to you, but I read it on my phone. I told Noah, I'm like, I was reading it. I go, this is so like she's saying things that really remind me of you. Like she's just so thoughtful and like she's just a sweet person deep down. And I think that she maybe has been misconstrued as like an angry, crazy, like selfish, like kind of dumb person, but she's so fucking sweet. And I think everyone always says Noah's lazy, stupid, dumb,
all the time.
selfish. But really deep down,
what
she's
you look like,
a
I mean.
sweet person. Did you relate to that assessment? Do you feel kinship with her?
Yeah, okay, so I just wanted to say, never listened to Britney Spears, only read all the gossip stuff on her when I was a receptionist and had nothing else to do during the day. And going into this memoir and reading about her and learning first of all, she's very thoughtful, very like highly creative and like spiritual in a way, but not religious spiritual, like just like really like energy wise. And just like reading about what happened to her, the way she grew up, the whole thing with Justin Timberlake. Oh my God.
Can we just like enlighten some people about some stuff right now? Because if you're not going to read this book, it's not two spoilers alerts.
And
okay?
you'll still want to read it,
I want to know
even
about
if
her dad.
we are about to spoil
more
it.
than Justin.
There should be criminal charges pressed against her family without question.
Yes.
Without question, her father and that Lou woman, whoever that motherfucker was, they should be in
They're
prison
sadistic.
for what they
It's
did to her.
crazy.
Speaking of the creative thing, Britney Spears really is a really amazing artist, and it was stolen from her so early on that we never got to see the potential of the artist that she was, because she became a marketer's dream. She just became whatever these people wanted her to be, and all of her talent and all of her creativity was sapped from her, and she wasn't allowed to be. Let's not even talk about how much she was paralyzed during her conservatorship. It happened immediately. She was sexualized. She was punished for being sexy. She was mocked for being a virgin. She
loved dressing up and being and like leaning into like her like girlyhood. And that was really used against her in a way, especially with all the interviews and stuff that she did, even from like Star Search.
Was used against her. Everything was used against her from the what she was
jealous.
Always a weapon used against her. They built her up for the things that she was, and then they would push her down for the things that she was. It is our fault. It is the media's fault. It's literally, I wanted out of show business after I read this. I was like, it's a disgusting,
it's not the same place.
Disgusting business.
I don't think it is disgusting,
but I think it is. Yeah. I think it's. But this is still happening to her. I just looked at an Us Weekly that I got when I went to their offices that's sitting on my table in there. And I look at it with a new lens of like this picture that they used for the front cover, the emotional journey of Britney Spears. Like they're trying to act like they're being nice to her now. They still used a picture that made her look distressed and looked like she's not in a good place. Everything is so manipulated with this woman in particular. This book, this is what I'll say about it. Britney, if you think, oh yeah, she's not that talented, Britney was the one that decided when they did the whole reason Britney Spears got super famous was off of Baby One More Time. Okay, right? Remember that? The music video, they were going to shoot a music video in a high school, and she was the one that was like, why don't we do schoolgirl uniforms? Okay, amazing decision. Why don't we do it when the bell rings, everyone breaks out into dances and it's all girls in pigtails? That was all her vision, which is arguably the reason she's famous. So anyone who thinks that she was just, something that was plugged into this like plug and play machine of like, this is how you make a star, just put this girl out there and make her sing. She also was the one that before Baby One More Time was recorded, she stayed up all night long because she wanted her voice to sound like this. She like wanted it to be like, she thought it would sound cool. So she purposely stayed up all night long the night before the recording, talking and screaming and hanging out and partying her way, which is like drinking a lot of Pepsi. Like she's not even that big of a partier. Everything you think about her is just media's lies about her.
And so I sent you a screenshot of this. This is really the part, and it's very, very early on in the book. It's when she talks about her childhood and how she used music and performance as an escape from her reality. That told me, like, the fact that, her career is music and entertainment, that was her escape and her, like, safe zone. Yes. And we made that, and I say we because I also read into all those things. We made that place for her so toxic. And that's the really saddest part.
That's the song Toxic. You're so right. We poisoned that place for her. Like that was her refuge. She had a alcoholic father who would drink to the point where he was like couldn't even stand up and would just be passed out on the ground. She had an angry mom who wouldn't divorce him and get the kids away from him and who would just scream at him into the wee hours of the morning. And Britney would say, Mom, please, he's finally asleep. He's not terrorizing our family anymore. Can you not scream? And she'd be up all night listening to her mom screaming at her passed out father. She had nowhere to go from this, but she had like a happy moments in her childhood, but singing was such an escape for her. And then it became the worst thing in her life was like making music and then what about all the producers that would put her into like during her conservatorship, her dad made music like hell for her. He wouldn't let her change anything on the Vegas show. Whenever she would go record new music, they would purposely pick out the worst, dingiest, disgusting recording studios so that she wouldn't be good. Because if she got good and creative, she would have a voice and be able to communicate with us what was going on. So they just kept her recording this, doing the same things that she had been doing for years and years. She couldn't do anything different. They would only let her play new songs during her changes on the Vegas show when she would be like in the bowels of the stage doing a costume change. They would like play music over that. And then that's when her new music could be played during her costume changes. And then the Justin Timberlake thing, I know people are probably like, I'm not interested in Britney Spears. Can I just say the Justin Timberlake thing is so fucking wild what happened with this? She was in a relationship with Justin Timberlake, okay? She was so desperately in love with him. So in love. They were together years, right? They're living together. They are the it couple. They are both at the pinnacle of their fame. He is just kind of reaching the same level of fame as her around like maybe a couple years into their relationship. NSYNC is blowing up. People are paying a lot of it. He's now leaving NSYNC. He's going to record his first solo album. He's becoming a little distant. She doesn't care because she gets it. Like he is just now reaching this level of fame that she's been at for a while. He is cheating on her all the time.
Justy.
She doesn't care because she cares, but Noah, let me know if I get anything wrong from what you read. She knows it's happening. She doesn't love it, but she kind of accepts him for who he is. And she also understands he's young, he's newly famous, and pussy is abundant, and it's just a thing that's going to happen. And that she'd rather turn a blind eye to it. She knows it's happening. She hears the rumors. He's fucking women on the road, multiple women every weekend. And she's just like, you know what? Boys will be boys. Not in a way that's like, I'm a victim. This is just what I have to do to stay with Justin. She's just like, she's just cool about it. As cool as one could be.
Very mature.
Yes, mature.
Very mature. Very mature. And isn't this...
At a young age for
his
her.
solo album, wasn't this after... the whole, do you know what I'm about to say?
The what?
Okay, no. So he's working on the solo album as they're together, right? And she's going into the studio, and she's not going into the studio to like, because she's on a tour, he's on a tour, he's recording. Then, by the way, she makes out with, she's hearing about Justin cheating all the time. She has one intimate moment with Wade Robson, her choreographer, where they make out. a guy that both her and Justin know. She made out with Wade. What does she do? She tells Justin right away because she feels terrible about it. Even though she knows he's cheating all the time, she just wants to this is her thing. She wants to get it off her chest. She tells Justin. Justin forgives her. They move on from it. Justin goes into the recording studio. He's recording his new album. Britney is supportive. She feels a little distant from him. In retrospect, she believes that distance is because he is writing scathing songs about her and recording them every day, knowing that these are going to be released, and he feels a little tinge of probably like, this is shitty that I'm going home and fucking my girlfriend. So she felt a distance from him during this recording session. Then he breaks up with her via text.
Okay, wait,
let's not even get into that.
But they
thing.
live together.
What's the biggest thing?
The abortion.
Oh, the abortion. Yeah.
She got pregnant
Soup.
and she did not want to. She was very happy about being pregnant. And he said to her, I'm not ready to be a father. Do you know what I find to be one of the most offensive things about that story? While she took I forget the name of the pill, but it basically induces the abortion. And
Are you 80? Are you 486?
It's like it's something
I
with
don't
an
know
M.
where I pulled that out. Yeah,
But anyway, so she's she's having the pregnancy loss, which is incredibly painful for a woman. And she didn't say
I blacked this out.
She didn't say how long, like how far into the pregnancy she was in the book, but it's still very painful because your uterus is extracting and all this shit. You know, aside from like the whole mental aspect, he comes in to the room playing his fucking guitar and singing.
God, I remember this. It was like a scene from Barbie, dude. What the fuck? He brings his guitar, but she liked it. In the book, she liked it, Noah. We both cringed at that, but she was like, he came in and like serenaded me with his guitar to like call me. She in the book liked it, but it was super cringe that he was like, listen to this new song,
young,
babe.
Dumb, and full of cum.
As she's on the ground crying, like, you know, aborting like having an abortion,
she didn't want to have,
or a miscarriage that she didn't want to have. And that's a little sticky subject matter of like, I don't feel like she pinned that on him that much of like, she pretty much did say I would have had this baby if it wasn't for Justin not wanting it. Do I hate him for that? No, he really wasn't able to have a kid. I don't think it's fair to like make someone a father when they don't want to be, and it was her choice ultimately. It's not like he forced her to do it.
I mean, I'm not.
And she doesn't trash him at all.
She doesn't trash anybody in the book. She just speaks her truth.
No one.
That's it.
No one. And that's what makes it so like easy to read and digest and like and feel. Maybe it's a ploy to feel sad for her because she's being so fair and even about everything. Maybe it's a ploy that they used to where like, we're not going to trash anyone. So you just look like the biggest victim. But it worked for me because can you believe he dumps her over a text message and then the album comes out where he Cry Me a River, where he films a video where it's a lookalike of her. I remember watching this video and loving it so much because I just saw the pain in Justin's eyes that she cheated and he's following this lookalike around her house and then he hooks up with another woman and he's filming it to get back at her because she hurt him so much. So she is like trashed in the media after this album comes out. Everyone hates her.
Yeah,
she's a fucking slut. She used to be a virgin. She was so proud that she was a virgin, which by the way, she never even wanted to talk about. People made her talk about it. She never wanted to talk about whether or not she wanted to have sex or whether or not she had sex. And by the way, she had sex when she was 14. She wasn't a virgin. She never even wanted to be portrayed as one. So then she gets shit on for being a virgin. Then suddenly she's not a virgin. So everyone hates her for being this whore. She cheated on Justin Timberlake with Wade Robson. I even knew that story back then. I never thought that Justin cheated, even though thinking about it now, of course he did. So then she is completely bullied by the nation. Everyone hates her. She goes away for like 2 years and can't even like leave her house. She develops complete horrible social anxiety. She is just holed up. He is on top of the world. He's grinding on people at award shows and having like, you know, just he's doing all these sexual things in his performances. And then she finally reemerges and does the sexual performance at the VMAs in 2000, which is one of my favorite performances of all time. It's she does I Can't Get No Satisfaction into My Loneliness, and it's so good. And then there's like a senator that says he wants her to die. Like people are saying that she's such a bad example for kids, whereas like Justin can do whatever he wants. He can make out with women on stage, never gets called a slut. She's a huge slut. Everyone hates her. And then And then it's just all fucking downhill from there. Like the bitch can never recover because everyone just piles on. And then that is the end of Britney Spears ever being like a hero to anyone until the Free
Except
Britney movement.
me.
And even now in the Free Britney movement, even I've been like, she needs to be on meds. She's crazy. Oh my God, these videos. What's wrong with her? You know what's wrong with her? We did this. It would be insane. I've made fun of Britney's voice before for sounding like a 5-year-old. She's a 5-year-old because she went
sexy baby.
She was in a conservatorship that made her 5 years old again.
Yeah.
She just gave
She
up.
regressed.
Trying
She
to
had
be
to
trying to be an adult
survive.
in a situation where you are being told what to eat, what to drink, where you can go, where you can't go. You can't have access to your cell phone. You have an iPad with child locks on it. What would you do? Keep trying to be a 39-year-old, or would you just go and turn into a 5-year-old? I think I might just be a 5-year-old because you just give up. For 13 years, she's locked in that. So, Nikki, don't make fun of Britney for sounding like she's 5 years old. This is what I'm saying to myself. Of course she would. You would too. So, it's just another lesson in like, anytime I judge a celebrity, there's like another side to the story that I wish, I wish I would have more like empathy in the moment when I go off on people that I think I understand like what's going on and then I don't. So, I think Chris, the other night when we were watching a documentary, I said this, I think, on the pod the other day, but he was like, when are we going to learn that it's never the story that we think it is? That anytime we have a judgment about something, there's going to be a documentary in 10 to 20 years that says, you thought you knew, well, you had no idea. And she was actually the victim. So I'm going to try to live my life now thinking about the documentary that comes out in 10 or 20 years.
They need to do it faster. Just put it out right away so that we don't have to wait.
But her dad needs to be behind bars. And then I probably will change my tune on this.
That's why you have to let go of judgment.
He's the victim.
That goes with what I've been
You have to let go of
about.
judgment.
Yeah.
Yes, because you
we
know
have to
what the truth
Columbine
is?
ourselves.
Her dad had a horrible, horrible childhood. A horrible one.
He did.
Yeah, and he was very abused.
He still shouldn't have abused Britney like that.
No one should, but like it hurt people. That's all we know. Let's take a break and come back with more after
Guns
this.
don't kill people.
What?
Guns don't kill people. I kill people.
This weekend,
by the way, you're on
Matthew
tour.
Perry died.
Go see Nikki on tour.
Oh yeah, and I'm on tour.
And this weekend
Matthew
you're
Perry
doing
died,
something fun.
and I'm on tour. Oh yeah, before we get to Matthew Perry, which very sad, but wait, I just want to say that when his death I was the first one to see it. I was in a green room with Anya and Matt, and I was like, oh my God. Like the alert showed up on my phone, and they go, what? I go, someone died.
An alert on your phone?
Oh my God, I got so many alerts.
When someone dies, you get an alert?
Yeah, I got an Amber
Like
alert.
an Amber?
I literally did.
It's a Nikki
Wait,
alert.
from who?
Like an Amber alert.
CNN, Apple News, Hollywood
Oh.
Reporter. Like I get like push notifications
okay.
from news when there's breaking news. And that
Okay.
was breaking this weekend. Matthew Perry. But Anya and Matt were like, who? And I was like, okay, guess. And I go, could I be any more dead? And they were like, they didn't know. I forgot who they guessed
I
at
wouldn't
first.
even know.
But yeah, that's really sad. But everyone, I have to also say that everyone dies, and we have to do this for everyone. Whenever a celebrity dies, I go, oh my God, we have to do this for literally every celebrity we know.
I know.
There has to be like this, like, oh, that's so sad, and it's like, wait, are you just getting the memo that everyone dies?
Yeah.
When people react to
Sometimes
deaths,
it's weirder
like,
though.
don't you know that Matthew Perry was gonna die someday? Yes, it definitely happened way too soon.
Yeah.
15 years before it would have been like, oh yeah, that makes sense. It's still shocking, but this horror of like, oh, I can't, it's so sad. It's like, did you?
Yeah, what did you
know
think?
you're gonna die too, right? Like you know that everyone you love and know is going to die, or you're gonna die first and you're gonna like. Is this news? But some people react to death like they just found out about it when celebrities die.
I've been prepping.
I think about all of the like footage and stuff that like TV shows and like news outlets or like radio shows have to go through to do like the memorial tribute to him, and what a nightmare that must be.
Oh, I always think about those
It would
people
be
being
fun.
like, come into the office, Steve. You got to start going through Friends footage. Like, we got to get I always think about the people that in the
like him
newsroom.
smiling when the camera's going click, 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 click. And they're like, Matthew Perry has died today.
Oh my God, yeah. It was definitely tragic. It was definitely sad. And it's definitely weird that his last Instagram post is of him in the hot tub that he probably died in. That's always morbid.
Uh-oh, maybe it was purposeful.
I don't.
You
think
can't.
so.
You can't
No,
suicide by
I
hot
think
tub.
he
That
just had
would
a
be
heart
too
attack.
hard.
It's really sad. From pickleball. So I've told Chris, I wouldn't play so much. No, I don't think he had just played.
ball because the Grim Reaper has
Are
a
you
sickle.
on your period? Okay. Yes. So I came up with an idea the other day. Sometimes my mind has big ideas and then I put them into play and then I'm like, I got to do this. But the other day, I haven't seen Eras Tour movie yet, which has been out for a while. And I've saw Eras Tour 9 times live, but there's
a movie about the tour of Taylor.
And it's huge, huge. And it's at AMC theaters only. And it's usually only being run from Thursday until Sunday. And I have been working every single Thursday through Sunday since it's been out. And it's been out for like 4 weeks, but I just haven't had a free time.
I can't believe you haven't been able to.
So the first one I thought was available is like, I'm going to be in Boston this weekend, Thursday and Friday. I can go Friday day because usually I just leave a town the day after and I never am just there. So this coming Friday, I'm like, I'll go see it in Boston. I look it up and I'm like, there's a 12:30 showing. This will be awesome. And then I'm like looking at the tickets and they're like, you can rent the whole damn theater. And I'm like, that would be fun. Like, I wonder if I can get like a group together to go in Boston. I mean, it'll be Anya and Matt, but like, I wonder, and Chris might be there.
Get people to.
And then I was like, wait, it would be
RSVP.
so fun to bring fans and besties. And I also that same day they were like, your Thursday ticket sales are like struggling, so we need to boost those. And I was like, why don't we combine the two? If people come on Thursday night to the show, that's where I'll give away the free Swiftie passes to come with me to the Friday show. So if you haven't heard yet, if you're in the Boston area or you want to fly to Boston to go to the Swifties Eras Tour movie with me, if you come Thursday night to my show, I'm giving away 35 passes because they only let you bring 40 guests to a whole theater.
More can fit in there.
So many more.
Weird. Maybe they don't want it to become too raucous.
Too rowdy and raucous. Yeah, I don't know why it's capped at 40, but 35 people are going to go with me to see the Eras Tour movie on Friday day, and then I have a show that Friday night, which will be really fun. But I am so fucking excited.
That is a really good idea.
To get together with a bunch of Taylor Swift fans that are also possibly my fans. I mean, I think people might just go.
People might just tell their friends if they don't want to go.
Yeah.
Because they don't like Taylor Swift, but they're your friend.
I think that I hope they don't do that. What I wanted to do is maybe target some Boston Swifties that don't even know about me.
They have to go to your show
because
to
then
get
they go
it.
to my show and then they go, oh my God, I actually like this girl. Because if you like Taylor Swift,
That's
I
what
think
I'm
you'll like
thinking.
my comedy. It's like as emotional and honest and like raw as Taylor Swift's lyrics. I think there's a commonality there. So I'm trying to do some crossover. Final thought. I'm very, very excited about going to see the Eras Tour movie with a bunch of people that are just so excited. Because the opening weekend, Taylor Swift Eras Tour movies were packed. And now they're kind of probably less so. And so I wanted to go when it felt like it was like new and packed. So I think it's going to recreate that feeling. And I'm going to be singing and dancing the whole time. I cannot wait. I am craving Eras Tour again because I've been listening to the new Taylor Swift album that dropped on Friday. Just doing a little Swift talk for the people that care. And if you don't care, you might find it interesting as well. So the new Taylor Swift re-release of 1989, which is an album that originally came out in 2014. It was the first album where I became a Swiftie and was like, this is it for me. Like, this is my girl, is Blank Space. I was sitting in bed at 2014 listening to Blank Space. And I was just like, this is the greatest song I've ever heard. I love it so much. And I will love everything this girl does for the rest of my life. And I've stayed true to that for the past 9 years. So re-release of 1989 because she is re-recording all her music so she can own it because it got sold to this guy that she really hates. And so now she's re-recording all of her music and it's breaking all the records. Like her record, which was number 1 back in 2014, is now becoming number 1 again. But it's re-recorded with her new voice, which is like she's done so much vocal training. Her voice is so much stronger. Her vocals are fucking insane on this. There are some Swifties that are like, it should sound exactly the same. No, it shouldn't. She is making it sound exactly the same, but she's a better singer now, you guys.
And it's more ethical.
You should like this more.
It's more ethical because there's no.
And it's what?
It's more ethical because there's no drama, and she owns the music.
She owns the music, and there are things about it that are different. Like some people, if you get into the Swiftie boards, they're like, okay, this one note she hits is so different. The way she says this one line. But there is one part in the song I Know Places, which is one of my favorite songs. I Know Places is one of my favorite songs of all time of Taylor Swift. And there's this part where she goes, and we run baby, but she goes, and we run. But in the original one, she's like, she does the, and we run, and it sounds fine. But this one, she goes, and we run, and it's like, look, go listen to the second, and we run. It is awesome, and everyone's freaking out about it, saying it sounds so cool because there's like a,
there's a
like
Britney on it.
Yeah, she stayed up late the night before. It sounds so cool and so good, and you can tell that she was like, we're gonna actually really fucking run on this one. And then there's all these vault tracks, which are tracks that didn't make it onto the original album that she is now releasing for the first time. One of them is truly one of the best Taylor Swift songs ever written. She co-wrote it with amazing multi-platinum Grammy-winning songwriter, one of the best songwriters of all time. She's written some of your favorite songs. Diane Warren. She sat down and wrote with her, and she wrote this song called "Say Don't Go." I know. And Diane Warren did not know that this song was going to be released. She was really sad that it didn't make the original album. She was like, I wonder why. But I guess it sounded too much like another song. It has the same kind of chord progression as the song "Clean," which is also on that album. So I think maybe Taylor left it off for that reason. But "Say Don't Go" is one of the best Taylor Swift songs ever recorded and written. It is so good. And then there's another this is my order of vault tracks if you want to know my faves. It started out "Say Don't Go" was number 1. Then it was "Slut." I liked "Slut" second, but "Slut" has fallen in the ranks because other ones have climbed. "Slut" stays as a great song, but "Now That We Don't Talk" is so good, and it's about Harry Styles because I asked my fans, who do you think the song is about? Oh yeah, they dated. And we all know that they dated because it was like out and about, they were like out and about during this time of like when she was writing these songs. And in Out of the Woods, which is a song about Harry Styles, they talk about a snowmobile accident that they were in together. Remember when you hit the brakes too soon? 20 stitches in a hospital room. You started crying, baby, I did too. When the sun came up, I was looking at you. Remember when you couldn't take the heat? I walked out instead of setting you free. When the monsters turned out to be just trees. When the sun came up, you were looking at me. Okay, so that we know that's Harry Styles. So then we have that picture of that, like we are confirmed Out of the Woods, that whole thing. He cried. They had a snowmobile accident. They were in the hospital room. It definitely happened. So we have that from the first album. Then she releases this vault track and we're like, who is this about? But the lyrics go, red blood, white snow. And you're like, boom, snowmobile accident. We know it. Like, this is why Taylor is so good. We know that song is about Harry because of that. And also there's another song that I want to point Swifties to where everyone goes, who is this song about? And this is a song off of Midnight's, and it's called "Question." And it's a very bizarre song. Everyone's like, the lyrics don't make any sense because it's like, can I ask you a question? Have you ever been? Can I ask you a question? Have you ever been kissed in a crowded room with all of your friends making fun of you, but 15 seconds they were clapping too? Then what did you do? And it's just like, what are you talking about? Like, why are you asking someone if they got kissed in a crowded room? And everyone doesn't even know what the song is about. But that song starts out with like, it starts with the same start out as the of Out of the Woods does. And so I think that question is about Harry Styles because she uses the same like kind of sound in the beginning. Then this is a deep dive for Swifties, and this is the first time I'm announcing this. So only Swifties listen up because no one else gives a fuck about any of this. I know that already. But this is a big one. Okay, in the very beginning of Dane Cook texted me. Okay, at the very beginning, wonder what he wants.
He wants to know your thoughts about the 1989 re-release.
Yeah, okay, maybe he wants to know this.
Are you on Reddit by any chance in the Taylor Swift chat room right now? Chat room.
At the beginning of "Is It Over Now," there's like a. It sounds like a seagull, or it could be a seagull or a cougar that got its paw trapped in a thing. So see if you can hear it. Okay, it goes. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? Okay. That is the exact same sound that is in Labyrinth from where is it? Okay, well, it's not showing up. Okay, but Labyrinth, there's some connection between Labyrinth and Is It Over Now? Was that the one that I played before? There's something going on. I don't know what it is. Swifties, slide into my DMs and tell me if you hear the same little wow and like this weird noise. There's something going on with those two songs. They are connected. They might be about the same person. We don't know. I will say though that Is It Over Now and Now That We Don't Talk and Say Don't Go are 3 of the best vault tracks we've ever gotten from her. It's so exciting. I am such a lucky son of a bitch to be a Taylor Swift fan because there's constantly new music. 4 brand new songs were dropped into my lap on Friday. This is after July 8th when like 5 or 6 new vault tracks were dropped in my lap when she re-released Speak Now. I think we have another album coming up that she has definitely been in the studio, paparazzi recording. I'm just so excited to be a fan of someone who constantly releases stuff. Like, you're a big fan of T-Rex. When was the last time they came out with a new song?
I know. I was just thinking Peter Gabriel's not going to do it. T-Rex is dead.
But like, is there anyone you're excited about like that makes new music?
No.
Yeah. Doesn't that suck?
It does.
I think they just found a new Beatles track, though. A new Beatles track just came out.
Oh, they did find a new Steely Dan track.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. It's like a jingle, though, for a commercial for like beer. It's like, Schlitz, the best beer you can get.
And who is it about?
It's about Mr. Schlitz, the beer man.
So what guy is it about? Who is Steely Dan dating? Who's Donald Fagen dating back then?
Good job.
Yeah, I know who he is. I love Donald Fagen.
Yes.
I love his name. I love his voice. I love everything about him.
He's got quite a face on his head.
Also really into Rod Stewart. I think I'm about to go through a Rod Stewart phase because
I'll go through
his
it with
voice
you.
is fucking crazy.
I love him.
And I was listening to him at my vocal lesson today because he was like, listen to the way Rod Stewart sings. Like, he's not caring about sounding good. He's just pure emotion. That's why people love him. And I was like, I just go, but that's really bad singing. That like hurts his voice. And he goes, oh, it's terrible. It's the worst technique ever. I'm like, how is this guy still singing 50 years later with that voice? Does he still sing like that?
Gargle and gravel, baby.
Oh, it's so hot. All right. We really covered a lot of ground here. Thank you so much for being here today, Taylor, on Halloween. Thank you, Noah. Brian never showed up, but I'm so glad because that means he was relaxed. Yeah. And he was not stressing in traffic. We'll be back tomorrow with Brian with a whole new show post-Halloween. Talk about everything that goes down tonight. Be careful out there. It already happened where you're listening. But we'll be back tomorrow and come see me on tour this weekend. Boston and Baltimore. Thursday, Friday, Boston. Saturday, Baltimore. And then the tour goes on and on. New dates being announced all the time. Go check my website, nikkiglaser.com. I'd love to see you out there, besties. Have a good day. Don't be and just watch F-Boy Island
Jam
on
a bunch
Fridays.
of Swifties.
Changing to Fridays on the CW because no one's fucking watching it.
It
So
is
if you could watch it, I'd really appreciate it because no one else is. It's not because it's a bad show. It's because no one knows where the CW is. So if you can find the CW, watch one of the best shows going right now, F-Boy Island Season 3. Love you guys. See you then.
Bye-bye.
And it's free on the app. It's free on the CW app. It's free.
It is?
Yes.
Oh.